Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. So in this video we are going to continue the chapter Real Numbers of Class 10th Mathematics Part 5. In the previous video we have proved that root 2 is an irrational number, root 3 is an irrational number, root 5 is an irrational number, root 7 is an irrational number. So like this we have proved that root 2, root 3, root 5, root 7 they are irrational numbers. Now let us continue this one. So in this video, so let us prove that 3 plus 2 root 5 is irrational. So let us prove this one. Let us prove that 3 plus 2 root 5 is irrational. So now for this one, let us assume that first sentence. Let us assume that 2 root 5 is rational. This is the first sentence you have to write. Let us assume that 3 plus 2 root 5 is rational. Next sentence. So if they are rational, then 3 plus 2 root 5 is in the form of p by q, where p and q are co-prime. This is the second step we have to write. Then coming to the third step. So keep 2 root 5 here itself. So 2 root 5 is equal to p by q. You shift plus 3, it will become minus 3. So 2 root 5 is equal to, take the LCM, here nothing is there means 1. LCM for q and 1 is q. Now cross multiply, 1 into p is p, q into 3 is 3q. So p minus 3q divided by q. Next step, root 5 is equal to, you bring this 2 to the denominator. So p minus 3q divided by 2q. So now here, since p and q are integers, therefore p minus 3q divided by 2q is rational. But we know that root 5, here root 5 is there, we know that root 5 is irrational. Already now prove ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ, we have proved that root 5 is irrational. This contradiction arisen because of our wrong assumption, therefore 3 plus 2 root 5 is irrational. So like this we have to prove that 3 plus 2 root 5 is irrational. So now let us move for the next question. So let us prove that 5 plus 3 root 7 is irrational. So now the first step, let us solve this question. Let us assume that 5 plus 3 root 7 is rational. So 5 plus 3 root 7 is rational, means it is equal to p by q, where p and q are co-prime. So now in the next step, you shift plus 5 this side. So what it will become? 3 3 root 7 is equal to P by Q plus 5 become minus 5. So 3 root 7 is equal to, if Q is for Q and 1, if Q is the LCM, cross multiply 1 into P is 1P, Q into 5 is 5Q. So P minus 5Q divided by Q. Now root 7 is equal to P minus 5Q divided by, you bring 3 to the denominator, it will become 3Q. So root 7 is equal to P minus 5Q divided by 3Q. So now since P and Q are co-prime, since P and Q are integers, if they are integers, therefore P minus 5Q divided, this one, P minus 5Q divided by 3Q is rational. ಇದು rational ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು. If this is rational, then root 7 is rational. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ both are equal. ಇವೆರಡು equal ಅಂದ್ರೆ if this is rational, then this is also rational. But we know that, already we have proved that, but we know that root 7 is irrational. This contradiction arises because of our wrong assumption, therefore 5 plus 3 root 7 is irrational. So like this we have to prove that 5 plus 3 root 7 is irrational. So let us move for the next question. So now let us move for the third question. Show that 5 minus root 3 is irrational. So the first sentence, let us assume that 5 minus root 3 is rational. So if it is rational, then 5 minus root 3 is equal to P by Q, where P and Q are co-prime. So 5 minus root 3 is equal to P by Q. Minus root 3 is equal to, you shift plus 5 this side, it will become P by Q minus 5. So multiply both side by, that is minus. So minus in the multiply, minus root 3 become plus root 3, minus 5 become plus 5, and plus P by Q become minus P by Q. So now root 3 is equal to, take the LCM for Q and 1. So LCM for Q and 1 is Q. Q into 5 is 5Q, minus 1 into P is 1P. So now root 3 is equal to 5Q minus P divided by Q. So now here, since P and Q are integers, then 5Q minus P divided by Q is rational. So 5Q minus P divided by Q is rational. So idu rational andmele, so this the root 3 should also be rational. So root 3 is irrational. We know that root 3 is irrational. So this contradiction arises This contradiction arises because our assumption because of our wrong assumption that is 5 minus root 3 is irrational because of our wrong assumption. So therefore 5 minus root 3 is irrational. So like this we have to prove that 5 minus root 3 is irrational. Let us move for the next question. So let us prove that 2 plus root 3 is irrational. So now the first sentence is let us assume that 2 plus root 3 is rational. 2 plus root 3 is equal to P by Q in the bracket where P and Q are coprime. P and Q are coprime. So now next sentence 2 plus root 3 is equal to P by Q. So where P and Q are coprime. So next sentence let us write this one as so root 3 is equal to P by Q. You shift plus 2 this side, it will become minus 2. So root 3 is equal to, for Q and 1 take the LCM as Q. 1 into P is 1P. Q into 2 is 2Q. So root 3 is equal to P minus 2Q divided by Q. Since P and Q are integers, therefore P minus 2Q divided by Q is rational. So root 3 is rational. But we know that root 3 is irrational. Already we have proved that root 3 is irrational. This contradiction arisen because of our wrong assumption. Therefore 2 plus root 3 is irrational. So like this we have to prove that 2 plus root 3 is irrational. So now let us move for the next question. So let us move for the fifth question. 6 plus root 2, prove that 6 plus root 2 is irrational. So let us assume that 6 plus root 2 is rational. If 6 plus root 2 is rational, then 6 plus root 2 is equal to P by Q, where P and Q are in the bracket where P and Q are coprime. So now 6 plus root 2 is equal to P by Q. Now you keep root 2 here itself and you shift plus 6. So root 2 is equal to P by Q, plus 6 become minus 6. Root 2 is equal to, here nothing is there means 1. LCM for Q and 1 is Q. 1 into P is 1P. Q into 6 is 6Q. So root 2 is equal to P minus 6Q divided by Q. Since P and Q are integers, if they are integers, therefore P minus 6Q divided by Q is rational. So if it is rational, therefore root 2 is rational. But already we have proved that, but we know that root 2 is irrational. Root 2 is irrational. This contradiction arises because of our wrong assumption. Therefore 6 plus root 2 is irrational. So like this we have to prove this question. So now let us move for next question number 6. So now let us show that 3 root 2 is irrational. So let us assume that 3 root 2 is rational. If 3 root 2 is rational, then 3 root 2 is equal to P by Q in the bracket where P and Q are coprime. Therefore 3 root 2 is equal to P by Q. So now let us rearrange it. Root 2 is equal to P by you bring 3 to the denominator. It will become root 2 is equal to P by 3Q. Since P and Q are integers, therefore P by 3Q is rational. If this is rational, therefore root 2 is rational. Root 2 nu kuda rational. We know that already we have proved that root 2 is irrational. This contradiction arisen because of our wrong assumption. Therefore 3 root 2 is irrational. So like this we have to prove that 3 root 2 is irrational. So now let us move for the next question. So now let us show that 7 root 5 is irrational. So now let us assume that 7 root 5 is rational. If 7 root 5 is rational, then 7 root 5 is equal to P by Q, where P and Q are coprime. So now if they are coprime, so root 5 is equal to, you bring this 7 to the denominator, root 5 is equal to P by 7Q. Since P and Q are integers, therefore P by 7Q is rational. If P by 7Q is rational, therefore root 5 is rational. So we know that root 5 is irrational. This contradiction arisen because of our wrong assumption. Therefore 7 root 5 is irrational. So like this we have to show that 7 root 5 is irrational. So like this we have to solve these questions, and remaining part of the questions will be solved in the next video. Till then, thank you very much. Those who are not subscribed my channel, please subscribe my channel. Those who already subscribed, please watch my videos, like my videos and share my videos. And don't forget to press the bell icon to get the notification for the next video. Thank you very much.